talking about CaptainTwig falling to the ultimate out of Ymir. I mean, when you put up that decoy with so much HP, not just as a extra life button,
right?
It can be confusing in the middle of a team fight where Wukong already uses abilities. Maniac's just basic attacking.
Right, you just
so
see two Wukongs walking at people.
What's going on? So Maniac able to use his ultimate successfully to play a little bit of confusion, trickery, but also to tank the tower. Very important stuff. He wins player of the game as we get into our second matchup in the same set. Fnatic versus London Conspiracy. The victor of last game will opt for the first pick.
So LDNC had first pick last time, right?
Yes.
And they picked Janus.
Yes.
Now, do you think Fnatic needs that so much that they'll swap and get the Janus themselves? Do you think London will just ban it away, or do you think they're going to try to look for the Wukong?
I think London is going to ban it away with Khepri off the board. Now that makes me think a little bit more interesting. I was expecting LC's ban to be Wukong and Janus, but with the Khepri, with the commit to the Khepri ban, one of those gods is going to be picked.
See, for me, I think Khepri is probably the most dangerous in the hands of Badgah. Because Badgah just, like, dies all the time. He just dies. He just jumps in, freezes a bunch of people, does a bunch of damage, and dies.
Yep.
Now, what happens if he could jump in, root a bunch of people, reduce damage, and then resurrect himself?
I don't know. Why don't you play Wukong?
that's fair.
They're going to be banned out by Fnatic as well. So, although I said that LC was banning it to prevent CaptainTwig from playing it, Fnatic has no problem banning it themselves. Same bans on the left-hand side of the screen, despite being different teams.
The question, or the conversation is probably like, I want Janus. No, I want Wukong. Right? It's like, who's going to win the rock, paper, scissors to get their character?
And I mean, both are really good picks, and we're going to see neither. The first pick, Sylvanus, let Badgah feel comfortable. That's definitely going in the support role.
This is Wukong Janus, right? I mean, it's got to be.
This is my yes. I think that this is Wukong Janus just because of how powerful the characters are in their own right, especially after what we saw in that last match. I mean, just combined, there's one half of it.
Where's the other? Slow on the uptake here. Does Zashu have a Wukong?
That is a good question.
Fenrir. Okay, I didn't expect this. Fenrir is going to get locked away. Still an extremely powerful character. Bluestone, Red Pot Fenrir. If he goes to lane at level 2 with runes, you die. And that's just it. You
just
die.
Gets the stun out and too much damage to deal with?
It's just the stun for, 100, and then he has the 30 damage coming out from the Bluestone, and then he brutalizes you for 180, plus the 30 damage coming out from the Bluestone. Neith. Once again for Fnatic.
This time, more of a flex pick. Unsure if it will wind up in the hand of Realzx or the mid lane. Now, I will say I liked the amount of ultimates that came out from Neith when Zyrhoes was playing him, or her, rather. Last time Realzx played Neith, I didn't see enough World Weavers. So I'm kind of secretly hoping for Fnatic that Neith goes into the mid lane. CaptainTwig will be able to reprise his role on Kuang in the jungle.
Afro Fenrir. We have a pretty big swing right here. London Conspiracy in a good spot. I really like this comp so far. Janus extremely tricky. Aphrodite makes Fenrir invincible. So far, no one on this team can die. Freya going to get banned away, so Fnatic won't get the full run back on this comp.
Very happy for London Conspiracy. Not only did they pick up the Fenrir and the Afro combo that you just mentioned, they ban out the Freya, so they're not going to have to deal with Realz's activation of that anymore. Sun Wukong going to be banned out by Fnatic themselves.
Wow. I guess they were expecting maybe Afro support, Wukong support. I mean, there were options. So getting rid of him, I think, puts Fnatic at Chang'e.
Yep.
I'd be very surprised to see not Chang'e here. I mean, she wins the Aphrodite matchup cleanly. Going to lane to start with a Vamp Shroud and Purple Pot makes Aphrodite just hate her life. Then you rush down the Divine Ruin. No, it's going to be Hades. Aphrodite, one of the few characters in the game that actually handles this matchup.
Hades does have the chance, as we said, Neith not yet relegated to the mid lane. Hades does have the chance to go mid. Haven't exactly seen Zyrhoes play it.
Boo.
Anything's possible.
Boo. Stealth or bust.
Stealth
does it.
Well, Apollo.
So
that
Neith
secures Neith going to the mid.
Yeah. Hades going to be going solo. Aphrodite likely to be going solo with Fenrir jungle. They're probably looking for they already have Janus. So this is Hunter pick.
And the last one going over LC. Now, Apollo doesn't really have any matchups that straight fails. Xbalanque going to be an interesting pickup.
So check this out. You have Threshold for entire space control. And then Xbalanque or Fenrir can now get both Undying Love.
Wow.
Plus the Stone Shield.
Already, yeah.
Right? Plus Lovebirds, the back off, right? You have the extra passive coming out for the mana regen,
the shell
which is great.
That you better be buying.
And don't forget, Aphrodite has probably the best, if not second best, use of meditation or salvation, which is a direct counter to Kuang.
And normally, I would blast you for it, but we have seen it successfully used in the Pro League recently. As you said, anybody with an execute can be punked a little bit by the heal out of that meditation.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And again, Aphrodite does great things with that item, considering her passive gives mana to her teammate. And given the fact that Xbalanque is the most mana-intensive hunter aside from maybe Ullr, but in the late game is probably the most mana-intensive hunter, this is the best comp possible for Xbalanque. I mean, he has so many forms of protection.
London Conspiracy have what seems like all the tools to make this into a successful split for them and their fans. Hopefully they can bring it home for the purple. Fnatic, on the other hand, looking very strong. They're going to reprise their roles in the mid, the jungle, and support, only swapping out maniaKK from the Sun Wukong into a Hades.
That's the surprising thing to me. Like, you get MVP in the last game, you lock someone under their tower for literally the entire game, and you choose to go a different route by grabbing Sylvanus. It's strange to me. It's almost like when you go to a fighting game and you see someone win with a character and then change.
I mean, maybe, to me, maybe it's maniaKK saying, yeah, Sun Wukong was a little too easy. Maybe he wants to posturize a little bit. Bro. Like, maybe he wants to posturize a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see. We want to talk to the Portuguese powerhouse after the game for sure. We'll see how they go and win.
Well, if we talk to maniaKK, that's assuming they're winning this game.
Not necessarily. We've spoken to losers beforehand.
Oh, damn. Using the L
word now? We spoke to you before. Mid laners making the lane, both of them wearing their red buffs. So standard starts coming out from both teams here. Again, Fnatic on the left side of your screen this time. They had the first pick.
I like the build coming out from Aphrodite to start. I love the Lost Artifact. Especially with CaptainTwig being in the jungle, I didn't want to see a breastplate or any type of physical defense.
Right.
This is going to allow her to rush into that Chronos Pendant. I would like to see the boots first, however.
Just for the movement speed?
I mean, movement speed is very effective. Remember, Undying Love at level 5 is a very small window, right? It's only like 0.7 or 0.9 seconds. It's very small.
Sub 1 second.
Right. It's not enough time to walk out of the Hades ult with from mid or a little bit below mid range from Hades' radius without having movement speed. So he's going to need that to deal with that part of the matchup.
So earlier you said that Hades has problems with this Aphrodite match?
No. It's not that Hades has problems. It's that Hades doesn't immediately dominate the lane and make you hate life.
Which is what he normally does.
Right. It's usually, hey, if your tower at 3 minutes, I'm coming to your house now. Like,
but Aphro able to, is it just because of the sheer distance that she can have with the birds and able to clear that up and heal herself
up? It's very similar to a Kukulkan Tornado, how you can use them very early and have the creeps walk into it. Almost, akin to a Loki decoy. You can use them usually twice. You'll get 2 or 3 creeps. When she hits level 5, it's going to be very hard to deal with.
maniaKK making life hard for our Aphrodite right away. Not afraid to push, not even up on the tower, but into the tower as well. Getting a couple of in-hands onto that tower HP already.
He's got to do it now, because at level 7, Aphrodite no longer cares. Level 7, Aphrodite comes online and is able to hold the wave down. And remember, Undying Love does a lot against someone like CaptainTwig.
Who has to use that ultimate.
Right, I mean, he can stop a lot of damage, he can stun them under tower, use back off to separate himself, and if he goes into early movement speed, it makes it very hard to gank. I think this is a really smart pickup.
All lanes for Fnatic right now pushed up. maniaKK able to assert his dominance. Reels on that Apollo, helped out by Sylvanus, able to do that much. The only difference we see is in the middle lane. This one has really gone back and forth, when most notably Zyrhoes going to fire out the ultimate right-hand side. maniaKK channeling the ult, and we're going to see first blood over here one more time. Fnatic gets it this time. That's solo.
That's the key right there. maniaKK was keeping track of how much experience he had earned and how much experience Zashu had earned. Now, given the fact that Zashu didn't actually get to lane to get those 3 creeps, he only got 1 in the beginning, maniaKK knew that his timing was going to guarantee him getting his ult first. As soon as Zashu moved up to try to clear the wave, after the birds had been used, he chased him down, hit him with the dash to make sure he was slowed, 2 auto attacks if you saw his health kind of ticking down there on the minimap, and then used the ult before he had a chance to get into the Undying Love. You'll notice that Zashu threw the birds out at the end just to clear the creeps and hit level 5 whilst respawning.
These are why the small things matter. These are why getting to lane and missing 2 minions can actually make a difference. First blood goes the way of Fnatic because of what? 3 missed lane creeps? 2 missed lane creeps. These small things can make a swing at these early stages of the game. Fnatic understanding that. And as we said, maniaKK really understands 1v1 matchups and the intricacies of that. So able to take advantage of the small things. Fnatic.
look at that. Beautiful play right there from maniaKK. He dives the tower in an awkward way, but what he does and what he's looking for is that fear. By stopping the birds the way that he did, wasting just that 1 second from him not being able to cast those birds on time, made sure he lost every single creep in gold right there to the tower, stripping it away. That is so smart. And maniaKK's really getting the maximum advantage out of this matchup, which might be in his favor for now, but he's shutting Zashu down for as long as possible, and that's the key.
maniaKK should be building into that early Book of Thoth. I mean, he could throw us for a loop and build a Soul Reaver, but
No.
I don't think we're going to see that this early.
Calm down.
Going to be going into that Book of Thoth, which is still a large amount of damage, but will also boost his mana.
We should still talk about the fact that Aphrodite is an endgame character, whereas Hades is primarily seen as an early game character, sometimes even mid.
Yeah.
As the game goes longer and longer, Zashu will start getting a little bit more in terms of relevancy, but he's still 2 levels behind, and maniaKK's doing a great job. Now, let's talk a little bit about this duo lane. We haven't really checked in here. Xbalanque has not had a lot of pressure. In fact, looking at the experience, Realzx is even? Less? Actually, no. Shaggyshenk is in the lead.
Oh, Badgah. Miscommunication coming out from Fnatic might be
nothing
trouble.
here.
Badgah grabs the pull.
What are you turning around for?
Realzx backed. Stuck in a portal. Stuck in an ultimate from Geb. And Badgah about 30% HP. Some help from the mid lane. Just enough to save Badgah's life. 3-on-1, not enough, but here comes Realzx. He's going to dive on in looking for Shaggy.
He didn't go far enough. He needed to go about, I would say, about 15 or 30 units farther to make sure he was ulting in front of them. That would have given him enough space to cut off Shaggy's path and, at worst, waste the Rising Jaguar and allow himself to turn into the mage. He takes a more safe route, and I love the fact that he's trying to just strip away last hits here and make the minions kill themselves, because they got pretty aggressive there on London Conspiracy. Shaggyshenk doesn't find the kill and gives away the small lead that he had by having to rotate back late. This gives free experience to Realzx, plus he's already stacking up those Devs gloves as opposed to the Transcendence, which has just been finished.
Now, as you said, the London Conspiracy, we've talked a lot about maniaKK's sort of dominance over the solo lane, and you talked about how it was sort of a late game character. The same goes to be said about the duo lane. Apollo will be relevant, well, the entire game essentially, with that ultimate available and sort of what he does, etc. But Xbalanque really comes to prominence into the late game. So again, even as we see Fnatic sort of inch ahead in these lanes, bear in mind that London Conspiracy is really banking to cash in these checks a little bit later than Fnatic might be.
Zashu again locked into the tower, but given his build and the fact that he's level 7 right now, I don't know if he has exactly enough damage with level 7 to clear the wave without having those boosts finished. I like the back off. maniaKK trying to chase down for Devour Souls, won't find it. He'll be able to clear the wave. Let's see if the birds clear the archers here. I think that's the big call.
Dealing enough damage, and
nope, he needs those boots.
Barely not going to make it.
The back off will help, though. I think he actually only lost 2 creeps there, given the fact that one of the non-Guardian melees walked in a little bit earlier. So he loses 50 gold in that wave, and it's adding up. Left side, SoggySandal trying to set something up as Twig's forced to jump away.
Badgah's going to be isolated, surrounded by members of LC. Very, very low.
Oh my God.
Aero's going to fall, though, as Badgah falls in tandem. Now, Zyrhoes is the lonely one. He is getting help from Realzx, who lands on the backside. Looking at SoggySandal, here comes CaptainTwig, but
no.
Twig taken down. He won't die, but he will get pushed out of the fight almost immediately, which allows SoggySandal to clean up the mid laner. Zyrhoes falls, and that's a 1-for-2 going the way of London Conspiracy.
Right there. I mean, that's heartbreaking. Twig had to jump out of that fight early. Badgah was caught completely out of position as a result of how much damage Twig took.
Yep.
And then Twig rotates back in, and he has a chance to go for the execute, but by the time he actually put himself in line to see that the execute was available, he was just slightly out of range. He didn't pull the trigger fast enough, and as a result, not only was SoggySandal able to escape, but finds the kill as well. Big win right there.
Right now, 8 minutes in, team separated by about 1,000 gold. That's really a lead for nobody. Worth saying that Fnatic has inched their way out, but a lot of that lead winds up being in the solo lane specifically. So all in all, we'll call this one a tie at the moment. 2 minutes till Fire Giant spawns, and really, maniaKK has been really potent, but I've been looking at SoggySandal. This Fenrir pick is working out for him.
And remember, Aphrodite has her pen boots online, right? Which means she's clearing this wave basically for free. At level 10, she also has level 2 Undying Love. Or actually, we should check that. We shouldn't speculate if we can see Aphrodite's build order here. Yes.
It is.
And it's coming off cooldown, which means she will now be able to walk out of Hades' ult from any point.
CaptainTwig available. That Undying Love is about to come up off of cooldown. Zashu has it right now.
I just don't see him getting a kill here. I mean, even if they dive this perfectly, I still think Zashu can live through it.
Too much sustain. It's up to the execution of the execution.
And even then, like, getting that amount of damage on Aphrodite, who's kissing you and healing you and knocking you back, it just seems very unlikely. And I like the fact that CaptainTwig decided to spend his time elsewhere. He's going to start the blue buff up. I do want to see maniaKK split this, though.
Zyrhoes all alone, and this is one of the boons of having the Neith in the mid lane. Able to clear the wave just like a regular mage, no big deal. So even though 3-on-1 in the mid lane for Zyrhoes, not a concern. Damage coming on to maniaKK. He'll get a little bit aggressive. Zashu going to be sucked in by one ultimate.
Too early.
Hit by 2 ultimates. SoggySandal's here, though, to make maniaKK pay. Here comes the rest of the team as well, and one brutalize and one hit. SoggySandal takes out maniaKK for his 3rd kill of the game.
Zashu choking a little bit there, immediately activating Undying Love and not running out of the radius. He sees the World Weaver and starts to panic. Luckily for him, maniaKK decided for whatever reason to try to end that ultimate early because he sees the rotation coming. He hears the call out from his team that the through space and time is going to drop ship everyone to chase him down. Also, Twig, really good blink there. With that water decoy down, he would have been caught by that brutalize.
Badgah's going to be here, uses Wrath of Terror to keep SoggySandal in place. Pulls under the tower again. SoggySandal very low. No execute available for CaptainTwig. But here's Zyrhoes. Gets the root. No basic as it's jumped over by SoggySandal.
A little bit strange there. Wrath of Terra very early, but they follow up pretty well, right? You see Fnatic using a lot, but the issue is they rotate over too quickly and find nothing.
They rotate over quickly and find nothing, but London Conspiracy find the Gold Fury.
That's a really big deal. And we talk about this all the time. You rotate to solo, left side's weak. And right there, immediately, London responds. Not to mention, they get a kill. They don't even die.
They're even looking at Reels for another one. Mez is good, but only temporarily. And Shaggyshenk will put 1 tick into his passive with the kill onto the Apollo.
That Geb Shield cleanse was brilliant. Perfect timing on it. Also, remember Zashu, he doesn't have any cooldown reduction right now, but as you level Undying Love, it reduces the cooldown, which means there's no way maniaKK can do ult for ult at this point. Zashu's in a good spot once again.
London Conspiracy really looking strong, as we said. I mean, when it comes to 1,000 and 2,000 gold leads, they're not really leads, but they do tell a story. And Fnatic, previously 1,000 gold ahead by maniaKK's dominance in the solo lane, has shifted. And with that Gold Fury, London Conspiracy puts themselves slightly in the lead. And, I mean, they're looking good around the rest of the map.
See, I think the endgame potential of both teams is really strong. I love the fact that there's an Aphrodite that can attach to a Xbalanque who can also get a Geb Shield. At the same time, there are 2 hunters with a healer on the side of Fnatic with a ton of space control and an execute with CaptainTwig. They both have a lot of control in either regard. Uh-oh. Invade, boys?
maniaKK's already taken down the tower. He did not walk over the ward. He gets the blue buff, and he stands still just to let her know what went on.
Yeah, maniaKK grabbing that one. You saw the counter-attack kiss, but obviously there was nothing to it. He was too late on the kiss to stop the Devour Souls. He tried to time it perfectly, it looks like, to get the maximum damage off, but that's why when you're doing the blue buff solo as a mage, you want to save a spell for the execute. Otherwise, someone just walks in and hits it once and kills it.
This is the idea of without Hog, you got to be able to do that. Ultimate, as you
early.
said, ultimate coming out from Aphrodite, but with the help of Zyrhoes, that's going to be a kill for the mid lane. Well, it's actually going to go the way of maniaKK, but we'll see if he can get out. The answer's going to be no.
I like the fact that maniaKK didn't dash there. He waited for the brutalize, but I liked even more the fact that London Conspiracy rushed him down, ensuring that even if he wanted to. Mid lane, though, we see Realzx diving in here. I have no idea what he's looking for.
He wanted to make the rotation to solo, quickly realized that it was just not going to go his way, so opted to at least get the farm in the mid lane and do what he can here.
Realzx got outboxed super hard there. Shaggy throwing a serious amount of damage. Those branching bolas doing work. Blinks in. EmilZy going to find 3, and they're going to go for a kill. Badgah's already gone.
Badgah's already down and toast. Aero puts the 6th kill on the board for the purple team, and 3 members of Fnatic are underneath the tower, with 4 members of London Conspiracy pushing down the tower.
Realzx is low. Twig is low. Zyrhoes doesn't really have a ton of damage.
Once these minions come in, they're going.
Yeah, they're going to rush this down. I like the fact that Geb had started pretty early on that rollout, and a beautiful teleport forces the escape here. Zyrhoes is going to be forced to ult. And Ragnarok will be wasted.
Not even looking at the tower here. London Conspiracy has blood in their eyes, just going for the kills. I mean, they don't even wind up getting the tower, but they do take out Zyrhoes.
maniaKK should be, or rather, I'm sorry, Zashu should be calling that maniaKK's ult is not up. Zashu still has a few seconds on his as well. I can see them trying to rush in here, but it looks like they're going to take the safer route, which is not a bad idea.
opting for the kill onto the mid laner instead of the tower itself when you have the Fenrir available. I mean, to me, I'm always objective-minded, though, so that's where I'm coming from. Maybe I'm a little biased in the objective sense, but I feel like London Conspiracy could have been able to get that tier 1.
At the same time, killing a hunter, I mean, like, stopping her from farming.
That's fair.
The gold difference probably wasn't too much. I mean, it's 500 gold for the tower. It was probably like, with all of the assists, probably like 320 to 350 for that kill. So they lose 150 gold as a team, but they stop Zyrhoes from farming, which I think is a big deal.
Having that Neith be a constant threat is not a good feeling. And Neith able to do what she does on a tier 1 or a tier 2, so opting to go for the kill is going to be the way that London Conspiracy thinks about it. Still up ahead by about 600 gold, so these teams not separated by too much, but Shaggyshenk will be able to steal himself a purple.
Stolen again. Realzx getting locked down a lot. Shaggyshenk has had amazing accuracy, by the way, this game. Missing very little. You'll see his player damage almost tripling that of his opponent.
Wow, very, very high, especially this early.
Well, I mean, that's what Xbalanque does. He got an early kill for that 5 damage. Oh, Zashu again missing the kiss. Sending the birds out,
Sandal from behind.
Once again, trying for it. Good dash that time. Brutalize going to follow up. Will we get a Ragnarok? No. Going to save it. Smart. An activation of Pillar of Agony there would have wasted that ult completely.
Just not low enough, maniaKK, in order to suffer that. Now, he has not built anything in the way of defense or health, which is what we're about to see on this ethereal staff most likely. Don't think we're going to see a Warlock Sash this late in the game.
Gold Fury's back, by the way. Just respawned. You see everyone start to oh no, Twig a little bit out of position here. EmilZy's just trying to walk him. He's like, hey, if you didn't know, this is our side of the map. Oh, and I love that portal.
Yeah.
Aero had no intention of going through, but still got the teleport out. And remember, portals has a much shorter cooldown.
We're seeing more and more of this, and it delights me, Brandon. I love to see what EmilZy does with the Neith ult. Always channeling
It's obnoxious.
Not going to use it, but just to put it in your mind, maybe he will. I like to see that. The portal's down. I'm not going to go through, but maybe I will. And just being able to play
Ooh, nice Geb Shield.
It's fun.
The Geb Shield stopping the pull outright, and you're going to get Wisps as well. Doing a little bit of damage.
Very aggressive positioning from Fnatic.
And it's doing well. They push Shaggyshenk away. Decent amount of damage. They're going to rush the Gold Fury. This has got to be a bait.
Now
maybe not even. They're like, never mind.
Fnatic had so much aggression in their positioning on the enemy side of the map, and then just walk away in separate directions.
I like the fact that Aphrodite took a hard route to the backline to kiss up on Xbalanque. I don't like the fact that Xbalanque is trying to break this kiss, though. Makes me very angry. Don't break the link.
That's mana, and that's a cooldown.
It is. It's 3 seconds, but what happens if someone rushes in right there?
Who knows? And I mean, that in all honesty, Brandon, that is an opportunity. That's when you see that, you want to go in because you know that the healing's not going to be available.
Oh, Zashu kissed Xbalanque again, and Xbalanque broke it again, and then he tried to kiss Sandal, and he missed.
Unfortunate circumstances for the healer on London Conspiracy right now. But everybody's still posturing around this Gold Fury.
Afro going, it looks like back over towards the solo lane. No, she's going to back here. Let's see gold in hand as Aphrodite wants to get back to the base. She's sitting at about 1,400 here. I'm expecting the Wingblade.
A lot of slows on the side of Fnatic, whether it's CaptainTwig, Zyrhoes, Badgah.
Plus cooldown reduction. No, it's okay. We're going to have a golden sash. Now, there are a few options here. Now, Warlock Sash, of course, going to give him a lot of health sustain. Building health on Aphrodite actually stunts some of her healing. Same thing for Ethereal Staff, although it could be Gem of Isolation. Birds last, I think, for like 3 seconds. So it's a 5-second slow.
Speaking of Warlock Sash, we are going to see the Warlock Sash be built almost 17 minutes in by the Hades.
Yeah, this is going to lock maniaKK into lane for a while. Otherwise, this is not going to give him the level of damage and health that he needs at this stage of the game.
That's why we normally see the E-Staff sort of this late. And if you don't get the Warlock Sash online, we'll see players build into the Ethereal Sash.
That was rough. That was 2 stacks he didn't get right there. Nice rotation from Soggy. Steals away the mid-camp. Small victory, but it's something.
maniaKK out of his solo lane. Then he took the tower down 7 minutes ago, very early on. So he's going to hang out in the mid lane with Zyrhoes coming up right here. So 3 members deep is Fnatic as they meet their 4th with Badgah, and London Conspiracy will make themselves known around the Gold Fury, but just to fight the Vision War, not going for it.
So far they're leading, but there are still 3 sentries in the inventory right now for Fnatic as the fight aggresses in. Soggy with a 3-man stun, putting the hurt on the Zyrhoes. Ragnarok going right for the back line. Found him, no World Weaver. He's taken down, and Twig is a sitting duck.
Realzx coming up from the top. Shaggyshenk already with a double. Realzx is going to have to keep up. Realzx has one. Aero has two. That's a double kill for both hunters on sides of this fight. 3 are down for Fnatic, though. maniaKK and Realzx the only ones alive. And Realzx, the subject of everyone's fight, just in the middle of everyone. He's going to go down. Credit to Aero and maniaKK being chased. But the rest of London will walk away and head towards the gold.
EmilZy uses his shockwave there and then recognizes, oh, he will maybe kill me. I'm going to walk away from this. maniaKK not getting a lot done with his ult there. No execute used, no World Weaver used in that exchange. There was just too much damage. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Soggy hit a gnarly Unchained.
maniaKK and a beads out of the portal. He will protect this tower for the moment. Last couple of hits coming out from London Conspiracy make that null and void. maniaKK, though, able to completely delete the wave, so might have been able to give an inch of breathing room, but steadfastness of London Conspiracy to stick around gets them the mid-tower.
All right, so let's check gold in hand again. Aphrodite after a big fight here at 1,000 gold. Now, Warlock Sash, I think, is 1,200 from here. E-Staff being 1,250, and then 1,400 coming out for Gem of Isolation. So it's 100%. We're going to watch that golden hand graph to see when she wants to go back, because it's clear she doesn't want to go back until she has it.
Gold Fury being started and stopped,
boys.
and started and stopped and started and stopped. Fnatic now, again, just fighting the vision war.
This time it belongs, however, to the side of London Conspiracy. 1 sentry remaining in the inventory for Fnatic, as opposed to the one that was just placed for London, plus the 2 more that they still have on reserve.
That's very interesting. When you root Geb, his rollout continues moving. It doesn't move, but it stands still, and then when the root's over, he'll just keep rolling
he rocks out.
It's always fun. More members of London Conspiracy here at the Gold Fury, while Fnatic finds themselves in the mid lane. London might be able to start this, but maniaKK and Badgah sniff it out. They're going to make the rotation onto the left-hand side of the jungle.
Soggy in a good spot. He actually forced away Twig's
50%.
rotation. And they're going to be able to rush this down. Realz's kiss, no birds, and no damage. Able to escape there. Very minimal hurt.
Realzx in the air looking for the big play. maniaKK will capture 2 and bring them low. Realzx on the backside with the rest of his team on the front. SoggySandal going to be chased out of the fight looking for CaptainTwig. Shaggyshenk gets the first kill of this engagement. 4 people are surrounding a low Realzx, a low maniaKK, and a full Zyrhoes. Got the wrong way is one problem, but Shaggyshenk doesn't care. That's the triple kill on the Xbalanque. Zashu is going to take out Zyrhoes. Only CaptainTwig remains, and he's nowhere.
See, that 100% belonged to Fnatic, and they made the most fatal mistake that you can make in any video game, and that's they got the healer low, and they didn't finish her off.
Got to choose your target specifically. Fnatic, unfortunately, not going to do that, but fortunately for London Conspiracy, much different story than Game 1. They get the fights, they get the kills, they have their Xbalanque with a full passive, and at 21.5 minutes, they're going to take down the Fire Giant. 15-5 are the kills, and London Conspiracy leading by 3,000 gold, Brandon.
We go back to the storyline, right? The contention in the middle of the pack is insane, right? You have Titan and Epsilon kind of riding the top, and then, you know, Paradigm's close by, but everyone's kind of fighting for that 3rd, 4th slot, which normally would have easily belonged to Paradigm, and obviously Fnatic. But London Conspiracy here have a chance to take off a game from the players that went to Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic is largely considered one of the better teams. London Conspiracy not only getting the Fire Giant, but also the Gold Fury, putting themselves even further in the lead, going from 3 to 6,000 gold lead.
So we're looking at the player damage here. Zayden, can you also bring up the healing stat as well in the other page? You're going to see Hades has healed himself up about 4,100, which is great. And then Aphrodite only about 54. But remember, a lot of her healing is to other players, where it's very unlikely that maniaKK's getting that Devour heal to others. So maniaKK very far in the lead, but I think a lot of it comes down to the immunity that Zashu brought to the table in the last fight.
Undying Love, a quick immunity can change the course of a fight so much, especially when there's an execute. Right. We haven't seen that burned out just yet, but just being able to be invincible for a moment can change the entirety of a fight.
5 to 15, though. London in a really good position. Let's take a look at the graphs here before we get into the next fight. You're going to notice a 5,200 gold lead. How much of that is in hand? Or if this is, oh no, that's pretty much a pure lead at this point.
Yeah.
Wow. In fact, blue has more gold in hand at this point, and it's only getting bigger as the left tier 1 falls.
NLC's not going to stop. They're looking at the tier 2 in the dual lane. Fnatic look like they're poised and ready to fight and defend. Although it's 4-on-5, make that 5-on-5 as CaptainTwig comes from the back. Badgah's going to get a whole bunch of people in his ultimate, but Aero will start off the fight with a huge ultimate. Shaggyshenk picks up one. maniaK's got people locked in, but it doesn't matter. Zashu cleans up. ASoggySandal cleans up. The surrender vote has started. The surrender vote goes through. London Conspiracy frustrates the opposition, and Fnatic splits with LC.
When I said this is game, I was expecting maybe they had enough time to do Tower Phoenix Titan. I didn't expect that we were going to see the F6 call.
That is a very big surprise to me. I mean, game one, you know me. I always speak positively about moving on, getting that out of. This is game 2 of your
that was the end.
set.
There was no more frustration in the set. That was the end of the day.
Wow. London Conspiracy with a moderate lead forced their opponent to
I don't know about that. That wasn't a moderate lead. And here comes the first blood curse, the World Weaver activation. I mean, the Undying Love was close. The Kiss obviously didn't do a lot there, and Zashu falls for first blood. But, we saw the opposite in the last game. We saw first blood go to LDNC, and they got dominated.
London Conspiracy really coming out to play, and a lot of that had to do with the Xbalanque. I mean, Shaggyshenk, really, we've spent,
His accuracy was insane.
I feel like we spent a lot of weeks saying, hey, if you're new to Smite, this guy was great on Coast, he was a big deal, he was once, and we haven't seen it. This time around, Shaggyshenk brought his tools to play.
Look at this.
7-1.
Look at his control, the way that he moves through the Rising Jaguar, the way that he activates his beats to make sure that he doesn't get stopped from getting the kill, increasing his damage. And now, the worst thing that could ever happen to an enemy team is that there's a Xbalanque late game attached to an Aphrodite. Right? Like, he's taking no damage. Afro's low here, but they don't finish her up. This allows extra healing to come off, and this makes sure that he gets the outbox, and there's the Geb shield!
And you can even see, I mean, Realzx wound up on the other side of the fight where nobody but Shaggy was. You could tell that Fnatic wanted to keep Shaggyshenk down, but he just didn't allow it.
I mean, we always talk about strategies in the pregame lobby, like this and this and this could happen. They could use 4 globals and wind up in this side of the map. But right there, that was the Aphrodite Kiss healing, making invincible, using slows to make sure he gets jealousy damage, and then Geb shield.
Oh, there's a Pillar of Agony on me, no problem. I've got the Aphrodite ultimate, so no big deal. On the line, we do have Zashu joined with us. Congratulations on your split, buddy. Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, so 2 healers today. Aphrodite doing amazing things despite the first blood. But let's talk about the Chang'e pick for the Wukong.
Basically, we thought that we need a little bit of sustain in our team comp. After all, that didn't seem to be the correct pick, and I didn't really perform on it. So, in the second game, we thought we'd go for something different. Afro, who I haven't played at all, so...
Wow, really?
But at least, yeah,
so,
I've not really been able to play Afro.
I could see the kisses being a little bit awkward, like when you threw it into the Unstable Vortex, but your team fight control was incredible. I mean, imagine what it's going to look like if he practices the god.
One thing I want to commend you on, Zashu, is sort of losing your lane in the right way, and I want to ask you about that. We saw maniaKK take down your tower at 10 minutes, 11 minutes, but you were able to transition into the mid and what became the late game more effectively. How do you sort of maintain your mindset when you lose your tower that early?
Basically, what we were trying to do is stall the game as long as possible by me sitting under my tower and keeping maniaKK in lane.
Right.
Because maniaKK was a big factor and didn't rotate to team fights by keeping him in my lane. And yeah.
I think it was a pretty incredible game from everyone. Aero setting up that second to last fight there with the the through space and time from super long range. The Gold Fury fight went really well. Shaggy picking up what I think was like a super late double, almost a triple.
Yeah.
And going for the win. Now, had the surrender vote not come out at the end there, were you guys going to push into the Titan?
We would have probably taken the first Phoenix and then take the other 2 Phoenix afterwards and then go for a save FG and after that. But I think it would have been possible to end after we got the B side.
Conservative. Nice. Safety is usually how the teams are won. Anyway, again, congratulations on your split against Fnatic. You guys played fantastically. Before we let you go, though, thanks for joining us. Do you have any shout-outs or any things you want to say to the people at home?
I want to do a shout out to LC and the sponsors, our substitute Cherry and Defiance who do the draft for us, and also I want to do an important shout out to the team for carrying me and getting the important win in after my poor performance today.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for talking to us. That was Zashu, solo laner for London Conspiracy.
See, I disagree with him. I don't think that was a poor performance at all.
I agree.
And if that was the first time that he's played Afro competitively, that was damn impressive.
That's the team mindset, though. Thanking the team for keeping him on his feet. And with that win, Europe is going to be shifted just a little bit. Let's take a look at the snapshot as far as the standings are concerned. With Fnatic with 1 win, London Conspiracy with the other. They're going to go ahead and split their opposition right down the middle.
And that's the end for Europe for Week 4. So these standings are completely updated here. Now, of course, a few had double headers where some didn't. So these won't reflect, I think, everything that we need to know, but it's going to paint the story that we need to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting people coming on. Don't forget, this is a 10-week split, so with week number 4 in the books, we're looking forward to week number 5. So when these standings come up on the screen, we'll be able to go ahead and talk about it. But for now, we're just going to move on to North America. We'll be able to bring those to you just a little bit, so stay tuned. 2 more games coming at you soon.
She just should